Good day, friends, and welcome to CJoy Yoga Online Studio and Wellness channel. And today we're going to talk a little bit about cross patterning and how it's such a beautiful tool to help to calm the central nervous system. Those of you who work with me regularly, you know I'm very big into what we do in our physical movement, very much being about its connection to the central nervous system. I think that's a huge part of health that we don't dive into and talk about the central nervous system and how it affects the hormones in our body, etc. So cross patterning, anytime you move across your midline, right? So as children, we naturally did this quite a bit. Whether we did gymnastics or if we used to play like patty cake or Cece my playmate or various things. They have done studies on this, and one of the most infamous studies is one where in doing cross patterning work with children, they realized, and they did it specifically with third graders, that third graders who did cross patterning work or practice actually read better than the other children. So they're starting to implement more of it in schools. Yada, 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 yada. Let's get to a practice. So sitting up nice and tall, you can have your hands on your thighs, palms up or down, close the eyes, and just let the eyes be really soft, the facial muscles be really soft. And the very first thing that we're going to do is actually work with our eyeballs. So if you don't know the figure 8, you can open your eyes, right? But think of an infinity symbol, and we're going to do it with our eyeballs from side to side, slowly and as smoothly as you can. You might be surprised that it's not that smooth. So whenever you're ready, you're going to go ahead and you're going to start to keep your head still, but use your eyeballs to make figure 8s in the sockets. And again, that's a figure 8 laid sideways, or you could think of the infinity symbol. And try to move pretty slow with this. Try to see if you can keep the jaw and the tongue and other things out of it. Your eyes could be open, but often we can turn a little more inward, and then we don't have the visual stimulation as much. And then come back to neutral and just notice the eyes, the effects, the sensations around the eyes. Anywhere else you might notice that. And then we're going to do a figure 8 with the head. And again, think of it going from side to side. So a little forward to one direction and then back. It'll cross through the center line and come back to neutral before it goes forward on the other side. These don't have to be huge circles. Keep the neck long when you do it and the spine in general. Eyes could be open or closed. I find that with my eyes closed, for me personally, it just turns me inward. But if you're getting, dizzy or something like that, you could fix your eyes on a point. Just nice and soft and gentle. This may seem silly, but your two hemispheres are usually not balanced all that well. And so this also starts to play with the balance between the hemispheres. Literally, I'm not making this stuff up. Come back to center and sit up nice and tall. And then go ahead and open the eyes. You're going to bring your hands, fingers, towards the shoulders. If they don't make it, that's perfectly fine, just wherever they're comfortable. You're going to bring the elbows in towards each other, and they might not touch, and that's okay. Now let your right elbow move up, back, and down, and just circle it that way twice. The left elbow, drop it down and move it back. And do that a couple of times. So now start with your right elbow. And then when you're ready, add the left elbow in. So we do something like this to get into our shoulder joint and lubricate. So it's not that we're not getting a physical practice, but whoa, does this become mental. When you get it down and you're starting to figure it out, go the other way. You might start by letting the left elbow lift up and do the motion. You might add the right elbow down and back just so the brain is kind of like, okay, now left elbow up and back, and when you're ready, separate the elbows and have them go in separate directions, separate circles. And if you find that one side is way more difficult than the other, yep, welcome. That's a lot of folks. And then go ahead and let the arms come down. And now we're going to go into slightly bigger circles. Right arm's going to go up, back, and down. Left arm's going to go back, up, and down. And I'm not mirroring today because I don't know if my brain is going to do that well and still teach it well. So right arm goes up and forward while the left arm goes down and back. And again, do that a few times, and then once you're feeling pretty good about it, switch and go the other direction. If you need to start by starting one arm and then adding another arm into it, totally, totally fine. Right? And then pause and just notice. Again, if you notice one side's harder, I would do that side more. Make your practice your own individual practice. And you might just play with this throughout the day a little bit. So now we're going to go closer to the spine, which actually usually becomes much more difficult neurologically for most folks. So now you're going to go ahead and you're going to take your right shoulder, roll it up, back, and down. And pause. And the left shoulder is going to go down, back, and up. What? And then start the right shoulder, up, back, and down. Oh, I forward with the left. I'm sorry, I said it incorrectly. And then add the left shoulder in. See, my mind's not doing it. Add the left shoulder and going the other way. So if I'm going up, back, and down, my left shoulder's going down, forward, and up. And I'm going to try to, without clenching my fists and my jaw and all the other things, I'm going to try to circle my shoulders in opposite directions. I mean, you can see, I have to, right? And I'm teaching at the same time and all kinds of things. My brain's getting a great workout this morning. And then let the left shoulder start. It's going to move up, back, and down. And again, I apologize, I'm not mirroring, but I don't think I'm capable of that. And since this is going up, back, and down, that means my right shoulder is going to go down, forward, up, and back, right? So start the left shoulder if that's a helpful tool. And then when you're ready, let that right shoulder go the opposite direction. There it is. I have to move pretty slow to establish the pattern. And I mean, don't go really fast anyway, otherwise you're just engaging a whole bunch of muscles you don't need and using extra energy. And pause. But isn't that interesting? I'm fine with the arms as soon as I come in closer to the spine, and this is true of many, many people. So crazy to me. Here is going to be another one on our backs. So from your back body, go ahead and bring your knees into each other. And in that figure 8 motion, that's our first thing, right? We're going to go ahead and we're going to figure 8 our knees, again, from side to side, or I could say infinity symbol. Your figure 8 would be lying on its side, or you could think of it being an infinity symbol. And this one's not so much about the twist as it is about the figure 8. And again, this cross patterning, this neurological work we're doing for our central nervous system. So let it be that. It doesn't always have to be physical, guys. And then come back to neutral. And here's our big finale. You're going to cross your feet, and if you can grab them, you're going to grab them. Now, you might not be able to rock and roll up, or if your spine hurts or your tailbone, you're not gonna, right? But if you can, I like to let my feet come back a little bit and rock my hips up, and then I'm going to exhale, and I'm going to try to come up to seated. And I'm going to roll back down. Just the rock itself, even if you can't come all the way up, is fine. Now put your other shin in front. Try to grab if you can, but if not, it's okay. And again, I'm going to lift up a little bit, and I'm going to try to rock up to seated. Now we're going to try to come all the way up to standing. Rock back, put your other shin on front, right? And so I start by holding on, but then once I get there, I'm going to put my feet down, and I'm going to try and keep my feet crossed, and I'm going to try to stand up. And then I'm going to try to sit down and rock back. Whatever shin was on top, put the other shin on top. And again, try to rock and roll it and see if you can't rock it, woo, all the way up to standing. And I know you probably can't see me. I let it low because I was going to be mostly low and I wanted to be closer in today. But welcome to cross patterning. I'll have probably some more of these coming out for you to play with if you're enjoying it. Namaste, peeps.